Hi, I'm David from RDH Building Engineering. Today I'm here to answer the question, what happens over the life of a building? Or in other words, what kind of projects can we expect as owners, managers and operators of buildings? The types of projects we can expect over the long term, 20, 30, 40, 50 years into the future. Behind me on the whiteboard, I have a summary outline of a 5-stage life cycle model that we at RDH have developed as a result of the preparation of thousands of reserve studies, depreciation reports, and facility life cycle assessments over the last decade or more. In addition, across North America, literally tens of thousands of these studies have been conducted on buildings, and there's a very clear pattern that emerges. And we can see that buildings generally go through, or can be considered to go through 5 life cycle stages. I'm using today the analogy of the human body. Life cycle stage 1 we will refer to as the prenatal stage. Stage 2 is childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and old age. Now, the stage 2 childhood is really from the 1st to the 16th year approximately in the life of the building. 17th to 29th year, adulthood between the 30th and 49th, and old age the 50th year onwards. We're going to look at 3 types of costs that arise during these life cycle stages. Firstly, when the developer and the architect design and construct the building, they make investment decisions on behalf of the owners. Investment decisions such as what type of roof are we going to install on the building, what type of boiler are we going to put in the mechanical room, type of carpets in the hallways. And the owners, when they take over ownership of the building, are responsible to repair and maintain and administer these capital assets. Over the life of the building, and this is a conceptual model, the routine maintenance costs, which I'm going to be showing in green, are generally consistent. They do fluctuate year by year based on cost of living adjustments and things like that, but shown in the green horizontal lines is the conceptual representation over a 50-year model, life cycle model, the routine maintenance costs. Things like washing of the windows, vacuuming of the hallway carpets, etc. Now, it is the capital renewal projects that I'm going to show in red that are really significant in this model and where we see significant variability. During the initial years of the building, years 1 through 16, we start to see smaller type of projects. During the 3rd life cycle stage, the 17th to 29th years, we start to see an increase. And then in the stage 4, a significant increase beyond that. Now, the expectation would be that this would continue to escalate as the building gets older and older. But the good news is that that's not really the case. What happens is we see a dramatic drop in the 5th life cycle stage, which we refer to here as old age. So let's take a look at what's happening in this model and understand this distribution of capital costs. Firstly, people will often look at this and think, well, something is wrong with our building. Why are we incurring these dramatic costs, particularly out in the 30th to 50th year of our building? Well, in fact, this is a normal, healthy life cycle distribution. And in fact, what people don't realize is that no matter how well built, no matter how well maintained or operated, every building will eventually require replacement, renewal, rehabilitation of major capital components on the building's roofs, boilers, etc. Now, the kinds of projects we see in the 1st life cycle stage, in brief, are things like hallway carpets, domestic water heaters, recirculating pumps, overhead gate motors. And these are typically smaller projects, relatively smaller projects, and these are components of buildings that just do not have a life cycle beyond 5, 10 or 15 years. These are short life items that just keep cycling through throughout the life of the building. During the adolescent stage, stage 3, the types of projects that are common here are roofs, boilers, elevators, elevator modernizations, and other such projects. This is a pretty significant stage, 17 to 29 years. The 4th life cycle stage is where we get into some even bigger projects, where we get into glazing renewals, that's windows and doors, and cladding renewals. And perhaps some of the major electrical components such as transformers and substations. Now, The second question that people often ask is, what is happening in old age? Why are we seeing a dramatic drop in costs? Well, the beauty of this is that over the first 40 to 50 years in the life of the building, the owners will have renewed all the major capital components on the building and essentially have a new building, which then the cycle repeats itself again a second and a third time. We've done studies on heritage buildings where they have been through this life cycle 3 or 4 times. They've replaced the roof 3 times over the 110, 120-year life of the building. And folks, that is a quick introduction to, at a conceptual level, what to expect over the life of a building. In future videos, we will be talking more specifically about the details of what's happening at different life cycle stages. Thank you.